Mary commentary.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of A Very Merry Commentary. This is a very special episode, and we've been looking so forward to this episode. We're having a psychic on today. Now, some of you believe in psychics, some of you don't, I'm sure. But my mother passed away over 4.5 years ago. My brother passed away this year, and Brooke is joining me. Very unfortunately, her father also passed away this year. So we have been in search of trying to find, um, trying to find any connection with our loved ones. And so today we have a very special psychic coming on, a medium coming on, and she is going to do a reading for us. Brooke, how are you feeling?
I've already been crying. I cried already before anything started, before I even put my camera down and started this thing. So,
Have you ever seen a psychic before?
no, I've always wanted to, not necessarily because I believe it or don't believe it or whatever it is, but I've just always wanted to. I think it's such a cool experience. And I've always been curious, would it work for me? Would anyone come through? But I've also never had really anyone pass away other than my father. So, I mean, my grandparents, I wasn't that close to them. So this is something that I'm hoping I can get some sort of clarity or answers.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've only had one experience before, and that was like basically during a massage, and I was having a massage like I don't know, 25, 30 years ago. And my grandfather had just passed away, and I was just there for like a regular massage. It was not a special place that had any kind of like, mediums there. And the guy who was massaging me was like, "Does the name George mean anything to you?" And I was like, "Excuse me." Of course, I'm face down with my face in the hole. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, George is in the room with us right now." And
What?
I'm like, "Who is George? And there's somebody else in the room with us?" I'm like, "No."
I thought this was a massage.
Exactly. And then he goes, "Well, I'm a medium and somebody by the name of George is reaching out to you." Well, at that point, my dad's name is George, my brother's name is George, my grandfather passed away and his name was George.
And your dog
So
with George.
I was like, did something happen to my dad? Because I don't live in the same city. Did something happen to my brother? And then he goes, "No, he's an older gentleman and he's just reaching out to you to tell you that you're going to be okay." Now, mind you, I went to this massage parlor. It wasn't a massage parlor. It was,
Yeah, the
it was,
parlor
a,
makes
it
it
was,
sound a little funky.
it was someplace downtown Vancouver. And it was like for deep tissue
Sure.
massage because I thought I had a brain tumor because I could not get rid of these headaches. And of course, I went to like dire straits, goes, "Oh my God, I have a brain tumor. I need a massage first to see if they can get it out." But anyway, he's like, "You don't have a brain tumor." But I thought for weeks I had a brain tumor. And so
Oh,
I was like, "How do you know I don't have a brain tumor?" And he goes, "Because your grandfather's saying that you don't have a brain tumor." Well, I didn't. And it was the
thank God for
weirdest
that.
thing.
A very Mary commentary.
Thank you so much for being on our podcast. And thank you so much. Like, I'm so
Oh my
excited.
goodness. Well, it's so wonderful to be here with you guys.
It's nice to meet you. I'm
It's
Brooke.
nice. Hi, Brooke. It's nice to meet you. I'm Melissa.
Hello. Nice
And
to
I'm
meet you.
Mary.
Hi, Mary. Nice to meet
Hi.
you.
We're just so grateful that you are coming on because neither one of us have experienced seeing a medium before.
No.
And I'd love to ask you a few questions before you even maybe start to do any kind of connections with anyone.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
Melissa, can you explain to people like when did you first know you had a gift of being a medium or you were hearing from people on the other side?
I always explain that as a child, I was, I know I was spirit sensitive knowing that now, but I just thought everybody felt the things that I felt. I think primarily for me, it was other people's energy. I was a very empathic, very sensitive child. And, as I, grew and every home that I went into was haunted. And yeah, I know, right? Crazy. And so I didn't, I just thought well, it wasn't me, right? It's just the homes that I happen to be
Yeah.
living in. But then I realized, no, it's me. Like they see the light on, right? And
Mm.
so I really didn't step into this role until 2019,
Okay.
where I went through a whole deep dive healing journey. And it just allowed me to kind of take the time and space to really work on my gifts and abilities. I don't like to call them gifts. I should call them abilities because everybody has them. It's just a matter of whether you decide to use them, right?
I
And
was
so
going
I
to ask you that question because a lot of times, I mean, you feel like you know something and then you kind of go, oh, that's just coincidence or it was,
Hmm.
you just brush it off and you don't know. But
Yeah,
intuition is
yeah,
very strong, right?
yeah,
very.
yeah. And everybody has it. It's a sixth sense. We're all born with it. It's just a matter of whether or not we want to develop it. And so I chose to develop mine. And so I went into actually energy healing courses first because I
Mhm.
was feeling the energy, right? And then that led me to an Akashic reading, record reading course, where, by then I was discussing with my guides and they were like, you don't need this course. You've done this before in many lifetimes, but go ahead. Your ego needs it, right? I needed permission, to be able to do this. So halfway through the course, they were right. I was like, oh, I remember all of this. And
Yeah,
so
naturally.
I just jumped in and, thankfully, it's worked out for me.
Wow. And how many readings have you done?
Oh my gosh, like thousands. I work with people all over the world, because of course, remote, healings and readings, there's no difference between an in-person or a remote energy or reading because, spirit doesn't know distance. It
Yeah.
doesn't exist for
Right,
them.
right.
So it gives me the opportunity to kind of reach out and have clients all around the world, which is amazing. So,
Well, Brooke and I were talking prior to you joining,
mhm.
just about how, well, my mother passed away 4.5 years ago. And ever since then, I, I've, and I've been trying to find some, I've had, I feel connections from her. Like I definitely feel like right after she passed away, I was getting a lot of signs. And then I feel like they've sort of dissipated um, over the years. And I don't know if that's because I'm just not kind of there as much as I was before looking for them.
Mhm.
Um, and then, but I feel like I've had other family members pass away too, and I just felt like I'm trying to connect. I'm always trying to connect. And you read things about, near death experiences, and then you start reading books, and then you start just really going down the rabbit hole of I need to know where
And
they
you did
are.
do that. You did that a lot at
Yeah,
the
I
beginning.
did that a
Yeah,
lot.
you
And
did it
I'm
at the beginning.
also
Yeah.
Catholic. And I know a lot of religious people don't like, they frown upon, that kind of stuff. I personally
Yes.
do not frown upon it at
Yeah.
all because I
Yeah.
think the universe is so massive and we don't know how it all really works.
No.
Agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can,
So,
um, like I'm getting the number 4 around your bum right away.
four.
Like how long ago did she pass?
It was 4 years ago.
Okay, ding ding. So when you're
Yeah.
right, I get ding dings. Okay. So, and as soon as you started talking, she's talking about butterflies.
My mother was an avid gardener and loved to be outside more than anything.
Okay. So whenever they come through and I start to connect with them, I always ask them their happy place. Okay. Because they get to recreate a favorite place in the spirit realm. And your mom's in her garden and she's
Oh,
surrounded by these beautiful butterflies. And she's actually clipping flowers right now as I'm
oh my
talking to
gosh.
her.
Oh,
Okay. Um, the other thing I want to tell you that when I was just sort of tapping in a little bit before I hopped on, I was kept getting a gold watch.
Okay.
Who
Yeah.
who owns this gold watch?
Well, my mother has Movado watch that she gave me, actually, the same one when I graduated from high school.
Okay.
She has one and I have one. But I think hers is sitting in my dad's bedroom at the moment.
Because
But
she just said your dad as I was talking, by the way.
oh,
So I think this is exactly what she's talking about, is this gold watch.
yeah, she has a
Okay.
gold watch that it was the only watch she ever had.
And there's something, okay, so she wants me to talk to you a little bit about the energy of that gold watch and the fact that her energy resides in there. Okay, it's really important to her that you have it,
Okay, because no one
that
has
you
taken
wear
it.
it.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, she wants you to wear it.
Okay, I will
Okay,
do that.
it's really important to her. Um, she just keeps saying, my darling girl, my darling girl. Oh my gosh, she loves you. So, do you have a sister?
I do. I have two
Because
sisters.
she's talking about your sisters as well. Are you in the middle?
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's showing you in the middle,
And
kind
can
of
I
like,
just say that
yeah.
my mother called me that all the time, my darling daughter. That
She
for two.
she just keeps saying, my darling girl,
oh
my
my,
darling girl, my darling girl. And um mm, sorry, she's just saying you need to eat more. Did
oh,
she used to say that to you?
All the time, and I've actually lost weight
Oh my
recently.
gosh. You know why? She's like, she's sidebarring with me right now. And she's like, Melissa, she's so stressed. She's got so many balls in the air and she's juggling everything. And she's like, darling, you need to take care of you.
That's
Okay.
my mom. She would definitely be saying that.
Yeah. She's like, if she's talking about your insomnia.
Oh, yeah, I have insomnia.
Yeah. So she's talking about you need to sleep more. And she wants me to tell you, do you take magnesium before you go to bed?
No.
She wants you to.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I just now was talking about that and I was thinking of ordering some spray magnesium that goes on your feet, but my mother took magnesium. In fact, her
Yes.
bottle still sitting where her chair was.
She's
oh
shaking
my
her
God.
bottle right now at me and
Oh,
she's like,
oh
Melissa,
my
this is how I
God.
slept. So she wants you to know that's gonna help you too.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But she wants you to take it orally.
Take it
Okay.
orally. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And did we get mom's first name?
Carol.
Carol.
Yeah.
Carol. Um, what is your brother's first name?
George.
George.
Yeah, we called him Gino, but he's a little
Gino?
trickster. Yeah.
Gino. Okay. George. How old was he when he passed?
56.
Mm. Was he the youngest?
No, he was right after me. There were seven of us.
Did he act like the youngest or something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because he's telling me, like, first off, he's giving me really like the youngest energy. And then when I asked you that, he's like, I acted like the youngest. Like
Oh
they
my
all
gosh, we said he never left
they
18. He never left
no,
18.
no, he said
You
I
do.
never he never grew up, you
No,
know. He was like Peter Pan,
yeah, he
right?
never grew up.
Yeah.
He had an extensive drug problem his whole life,
Yes.
and
Um,
that's not what killed him, but essentially,
he just said it contributed to it,
yes, it
right?
did. Yes,
Yes.
it did.
He's taking full accountability for his actions. He wants you to know that he said, I thought I was invincible,
Yes,
and I never in a million years thought that I was going to pass that day. Um,
no, he did not, because I talked to him an hour and a half before that happened, and he was in a great mood, and he was going to pick up my dad's medication at Kroger, and he was laughing with me, and and an hour and a half later, I get the call from one of my brothers that he had this cardiac arrest.
he wants you to understand, and because I feel like you've been worrying about this. Okay. He wants you to understand that he was already gone. So when he had his initial cardiac arrest, he left his body. And he wants you to understand that he did they put him on life support, or was there talk about life support
Oh, they put him on,
on
and
a
then
ventilator? Yeah. Okay. And then you guys had to make the decision, correct?
they told us we had to let him go because there was
Yeah.
no brain activity.
Okay.
But there was a little bit of brain activity, but they
Yes. But
said that
he's
it
like,
wasn't enough.
your brother's really funny, and I mean no offense.
Hysterical.
My job is not to edit them. And he's saying, you know what? My brain activity was like a rock. Like he's like, there was nothing there. And what you did was merciful because I was waiting for you to release my body, to release me from my physical body because I was no longer in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he also wants you to know he had no pain, like zero. He's like, he just does this. So that's my spirit sign for when someone leaves their body quickly. Okay. And he's like, was it around lunchtime? Why is he talking about
Oh my,
lunch?
yes. It was exactly around lunchtime. I had
Okay.
talked to him at 8:30 our time on the West Coast, and it wasn't but an hour and a half after that. So that would have been 11 something hour. It was around like it was 12:30,
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the afternoon on the
Yeah.
West or in the East Coast.
Yeah. So he's saying that he wants you to know, he's like, please stop worrying about me. First of all, he's like, I'm okay. I'm more than okay. He's like, I'm so at peace with myself. And I haven't felt this in a very long time. The demons that I have been fighting are no longer with me.
And he
Okay.
had so many, and he always said, I'm not cut out for this life. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? Unfortunately, he's saying, he's acknowledging his soul really took on a huge experience, right? Because we all write our scripts. Like each of you have written your stories, okay? And your brother wrote his, and he's saying, but he's laughing. He's like, believe me, the next lifetime is going to be a rest lifetime for me. Because he's like, this was a tough one.
It was a tough one. He had a
And
terrible, no
yeah,
matter what we did, he couldn't snap out of the way that he
yeah.
was.
He's talking about him having 9 lives. Did he have a few, overdose dose scares and situations? Because he's saying he's showing himself like a cat with 9 lives right now to me.
Oh my God. We used to say that to him, or we used to say, you have so many horseshoes up your
Ding
ass.
ding.
How have you
Okay.
not,
Yeah.
from all the abuse that he did to
Yes.
himself, or all the dangerous places he had been, we always like,
Yes.
how can you still be here? He
Yes.
used to
And
say the same thing.
he's like telling me to tell you that so you understand you're talking to him. He's
Oh, that
here.
makes, yeah, that
Does that make
that's
sense?
him.
Okay. Um, First off, he's one, you know what he's saying, I used humor as a defense mechanism. And he's saying my one regret is that I didn't tell you I loved you enough. He wants you to know, he's like, you were the best sister a brother could have. He's calling you a second mom. And
Yeah.
he wants to acknowledge all that you did for him.
Oh, well, I don't think I told him I loved him enough,
He
because I
knows.
always was trying to help him, like, solve his problems, and sometimes I get upset with him because I couldn't get through to him, but
Yeah.
he and
No,
I were
he's saying,
very close.
he's calling it, he's laughing to me. He's like, yeah, she tried the tough love route.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Everything I
and
possibly could, but
yeah,
um,
he's like, you did everything you could. And I want you to understand that you weren't meant to save me. Nobody was. This was my journey, and I lived it. And I want you to understand that I come away from this life just blessed and grateful to have had the family that I have.
I believe he loved his family so much, and I know he regretted so much of not having having children, having a wife. You know, he forewent all of those things. And you know, the saddest part about my brother not being here this year is that he mentored my sister's son and was like a father figure to him and taught him football. And this year, my nephew is like a star player as a freshman in high school, and Georgie's not there to see how well my nephew's doing. I mean, or maybe he is seeing
He
it.
is there because he's showing me his games right now. What is your nephew's first name?
Caden.
Caden. With a C or a
Mhm.
K? C?
With a C.
Okay. And he is how old?
I believe he's probably 14 now.
Is the month of September significant for Caden?
You know what? I have so many nieces and nephews. I can't. Oh, September's when he started school this year at
Okay.
Central, where
Is
Georgie
that
went
where
to
he-
school. Central
Okay.
Catholic. Yeah, Georgie went
Okay.
there too, and he was a football star back in the day. And
Was
so
George a quarterback?
he played that and tight end. He played both.
Okay, because he's showing me him as a quarterback.
And Caden looks like he might start playing
Yeah,
quarterback.
that's what your brother's talking about, is that Caden is going to become, or if he isn't already, quarterback, because I'm seeing
He's
him.
not yet, but
Okay, so did your brother, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Did
he's
your brother,
talking.
yeah, he's talking. He's like not letting me go here. He's talking about the traumatic way in which your dad had to witness his death. And
You know,
that
I'm
he's
so glad he's
sorry
talking
for.
about that because
Yeah,
my father's been through so much, and
he
he has
has.
to live every day in that bedroom. My
Remembering
brother
that.
came down
Yeah.
those steps and couldn't breathe. He was purple, and the one that
Dropped,
wanted,
and then he dropped like a rock, because your brother just said, I dropped like a rock right
yeah,
in
he
front of
dropped
him.
like a rock. He did.
Yeah,
And my dad
yeah,
still lives with the fact that he can't get over that he couldn't save him, you know.
yeah. Your brother wants, did we say dad's first name?
George.
Thank
Yeah, they're
you.
both the same.
George. Oh, your brother goes the second.
Yes, yep.
And then he just put a crown on his head.
Oh my God, of course he did.
He's like the chosen one, right? Okay, so he wants me, he's like, can you please, I don't know how you're going to get this to dad, but can you please tell him that there was nothing he could have done, and that I'm so glad that his face was the last face I saw.
Oh my God, I will tell him that.
That's huge.
That is the gift that he wants me to say that your dad gave him, was that he saw his father as he was dying, because his mama was already with him. Your mom crossed him over.
Oh my
She was
gosh.
front and center.
He
Okay.
used to say to me, I just want to be with mom. Sometimes when he was really down, he would say that. And you
Yeah.
know, I'm so glad you said this, because all of us have thought, poor dad, like, why did he have to be the one? He's the one who's tried to save him for 30 years from himself. My dad has
Yeah.
never taken vacations. He didn't do a lot for himself, neither did my mother, because they didn't
Yeah.
want to leave town and wonder what was going to happen to Georgie. So for my dad to have lost my mom, then gotten the cancer and the stuff that has happened to him, and then see the person that his whole life he's tried to protect then die in front of him, basically, we always thought, is there something poetic about that we need to find? Is there something? And they find it miraculously.
Uh-oh.
And
Oh, sorry, you froze there.
I'm so frozen. Can you guys see me? Shoot. Can you see me?
Oh, you just
Can you guys see me now?
yes, it just
Yep.
froze for a
I
second.
was frozen. I don't know why did that happen? That's never happened.
It's never
Your
happened.
brother's just messing with you.
Oh my God.
Okay, Gino, that's enough.
He was like,
Okay,
you know,
I'm doing a
maybe doesn't want to
podcast
tell the
here.
story.
Why did that happen?
That was
so
weird.
strange. It's
And it was
him.
only
He
you.
plays with
It was
flickers
only
with
you.
lights.
Yeah, it was
Because
only you,
he
Mary,
pointed to you. He's like, because Brooke and I were fine.
We were fine. It
Yeah,
went
we-
completely like glitchy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I'm asking him not to do it again. I'm like, please don't, because I'm like, George, you wreck our flow. Don't do it. Oh no,
Oh no,
he
he did it again.
Oh
He-
my
Yeah, he's not.
gosh.
Maybe he doesn't want you
Gosh,
to
I
tell
can't
the
believe it. Georgie,
story.
stop it. Stop it. This is so strange
That-
to me. I don't want to go back. No, I don't want to go back. You're frozen again.
He doesn't want you to tell the story. That's all I can think of.
I can't understand that. So strange. Are you guys seeing me?
Yeah,
okay
we can
now?
hear you. Yeah,
Yeah.
now you're,
I don't know what that would be.
that's crazy.
Have you ever had anything like that happen before while you're
Yeah,
just reading? Is
yeah,
that a thing?
they will mess with stuff, music.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh my
lights.
goodness. Mary, that's
Yeah.
great.
Now she's completely frozen.
You are completely frozen.
No, we can't hear you. Just want you to know
I just
that.
have a question because I didn't hear some of it because I was so busy trying to figure out why I couldn't get back online. But I'm wondering if your dad has poked through.
We haven't connected yet. Let's do that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if I missed something.
Well, she
No.
just immediately, you cut out and she said, sorry, I just got to tell you right now. She said, what's going on with Jeff? And so that just came right in. So we went straight for that. But yeah, that's why.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, what is Dad's name?
His name is Lawrence.
Lawrence. Okay. And his same last name as yours?
Yeah. Shant.
Lawrence. Lawrence. How long ago did he pass?
He passed away this June, in June on the 28th.
Okay.
So not long ago. So it's very,
Yeah.
I was pretty much in tears before we even started this.
Aw.
Deep breaths, Mary. Deep breaths.
And is mom still living, correct?
She is. Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yes,
Yeah.
you got it.
Because he's talking about her. What is her first name?
Her first name is Cheryl.
Cheryl. Did Dad have like a stroke or something circulatory happen?
Well, there was stuff going on at the end that was causing many kind of heart attacks because of what was going on. But he did have lymphoma cancer.
Okay.
And it was a rare version called T-cell lymphoma.
Okay.
So he was diagnosed 2 years prior. And of course, just with the lymphoma, you just can't breathe and it collects in your lungs, and they couldn't fix it because of age, the rareness of it, and just so many other problems that arise along with it. So
yeah. So there wasn't any chemo administered or anything like that, correct?
there was.
There was. So
There
why
was.
is that Dad saying like botched chemo? I don't know what he means by that. Like, did it not work?
He didn't get to do his second round.
Okay.
He was a little bit stubborn, and he kind of would wait around the house too long, kind of before he would get up and go to the doctors. We kind of had to always shove and nudge him. He didn't want to go. He went to the hospital, and I remember thinking, like, why are they not starting his chemo? Why are they not starting his chemo? Just start the chemo, and maybe they'll get rid of that part of the cancer for now, and then he can come out of the hospital. They thought he had pneumonia, but
Pneumonia. I just wrote that down. Yeah.
you did? Okay.
Yeah.
But they couldn't figure out if it was actually pneumonia.
It was. Yeah.
It
Ding
was.
ding.
Okay.
So it was also congestive heart failure.
There was, he was having, the monitors were going off. There was happening at the end.
Yeah. So he wants you to understand, and in the end, that's what killed him.
Okay.
Okay. Because he's making me feel like there's a lot of questions that you guys have.
Tons, so many.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was a
Yeah. This doesn't add up, he's saying. You guys were like, we just don't understand how this went so
no.
wrong.
Yes,
Right?
this has been my number one thing I've been talking to Mary
Yeah.
about, that I
Yeah.
feel like something doesn't feel right about how he passed, even though I
Yes.
know he passed because he had cancer.
Yes.
Something's not right.
Right. And he wants you to understand that the chemo compromised his heart.
Right.
It
Okay.
wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
Was there talk that they were worried about that at some point before he started his treatment? Because he's highlighting it for some reason to me.
We knew about it near the very end, like the last
Okay.
week, but he was very quiet. He didn't want to worry us. He never wanted to scare us. He didn't talk about a lot of the stuff that was going on. And there was a lack of communication between the doctors, us, and my dad altogether. So there was a lot of question marks.
He was very private
Very
about
private.
treatment, even with them. He didn't really
Yeah.
share it.
He's saying he was in denial too.
Yes,
Yeah, he's
I
saying
believe that.
he was very much in denial and not really in a right frame of mind to be taking control of his health and
Yeah.
his life. But in the end, he wants you to understand that he's like, it's an order of events. He's showing me how the pneumonia caused the fluid, which then impacted the strain on the heart, which was
Yeah.
already compromised, and then the heart failure, and then he's showing me his spirit sign, for the organs beginning to shut themselves down.
Okay.
And
That's like the sign for.
like when he's transitioning,
Oh, okay.
when
Okay.
someone passes of heart failure, or when it's like the body begins to pass, right?
Right.
They begin to show me that it's like I see the progress happening. And he wants you to understand there's nothing that any one of you could have done. Stop with the should have, could haves, please. That's what he just said.
He'd always say,
Stop with the
"Stop with
should
the
have,
should have,
could
could have,
haves.
would have." He used to. I'd
He
say,
just said that to me. He's like,
Yeah.
tell her that. I'm like, okay, I'll tell her that. Now he's like, now do you understand you're talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
He would. He'd say that. He'd go, "Stop telling me you're going to get on a helicopter and come in the middle of the night. That's not happening. Stop it, Brooke."
Oh, he loves you so much. He's like, I'm so sorry I left you. Do you have a brother?
Yes.
Because he's talking about you and your brother. Okay.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm so sorry. And that little guy, he's talking about your son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why he just said chip off the old block.
And I have a son.
Because your dad just told
I
me.
was just going to ask that.
How do you know
How
I
did
have
you
a
know
son?
she has a son?
Because your dad just told me.
Okay.
So yeah, I get them to tell me things so that there's no question that you're talking to your dad right now.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's really important for me, for you to have that. So that you know that you're connecting right now. He's here. Okay. And he's like, please stop worrying about me. Like he's kind of saying to me, like, you're worrying about where I am.
Yeah.
And he's like, please stop worrying. I'm in such a beautiful place. He's like, it's magical. He's saying.
That makes sense.
He's like, it's magical. I don't know if your dad painted, but he's painting.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, he's painting.
Excellent painter. Excellent.
Yes, he's got
Wow.
I'm getting goosebumps all over because
That's what he used to do when he was
Yes.
in a very happy place. Yeah.
He wants you to know that's his happy place.
Yeah.
He's painting.
Yeah. He used to do that all the time. Sketches, painting.
Did he do landscapes or something?
He's
He's right now.
everything he did.
He's doing like the landscape of all the colors there. He's saying like they're
Okay.
just. He's like it's incredible, and he's like I'm in my 30s.
Wow, Brooke, he's younger than you.
He's like he wants you to know he feels so good. Okay, I don't know if you have the ring. I'm trying to make it out, and I don't know if this is one that your mom already had or has been passed down. Do you guys have like a pearl ring for some reason?
I I have a pearl ring, yes,
Okay,
that
ding,
I
ding.
had that my dad purchased for my mom, but I've
Ding
had it
ding.
for years.
Okay, he's so excited that you just got this. He's like, yes. Okay, so he wants you to know how much that means that you have that ring.
Okay.
Okay, and he
I
wants you to
wonder why.
wear it more often.
I
And he's
don't wear
like,
it. Yeah, I don't
he
wear it.
wants you to wear it. Okay, he's like, that's a piece of us.
Yes.
Okay, when you look at that, you think of me.
He left me a little bit of money also, and it could be this ring as well, because I purchased a ring with the money that he had left me, so that when I looked down, I could see
Okay, because
that
he's
he was,
showing you looking down, and I'm seeing a ring and you thinking of your dad.
yeah, that's why. Yeah. So I was like, maybe it's this one as well, but the pearl one makes sense because I don't wear that. And
He
I,
wants you to wear that too.
yes,
Pull it
because he
out.
did buy it for my mom, and I
He's like, pull
love
it out. He just said, excuse me, pull it out, blow the dust off.
it. Okay, done.
Sorry, I get froggy because
A lot.
I'm feeling him, and when they pass it, like because he had issues with his
Did you?
lungs, I
Yeah.
start to feel it. Um, so he wants you to pull that ring out, blow the dust off, and wear it. But he's also saying, I'm so glad I gave a last gift to my girls.
He did. Yeah.
And that
Girls. She just
girls,
mentioned
plural. Yeah.
because she has a sister.
I have a sister. Yes. Yeah,
Okay, so
because you
he's
said brother, and yes,
yeah, he said his girls.
wow. Okay.
What's your sister's name? Because he's talking about her as well.
Rebecca.
Rebecca. Is she a Spitfire or something?
Yes. Yes.
'Cause
Very.
that's what he's
Very
calling
much.
her.
Yes.
He
Yes.
just said my little Spitfire, you
Yeah.
know?
She's yeah. Very outgoing. Very chatty. She's got a big personality. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said she belongs in Texas.
Oh, there
Oh
you
my gosh,
go.
totally.
Sorry, Becky. No Australia for you.
But he just know that he's sending all of you his love, but oh my gosh, he just keeps saying, my girls, my girls. Like, I feel like you were the apple of his eye.
You always said that, Mary. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what he just said to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wants you to know, he's going to make me cry, that he's always going to think of you that way. You will always be the apple of his eye.
Yeah.
His love for you will never, ever end.
No, he said that in the very last thing he wrote to me, which was an email for my birthday gift. He wrote me a note telling me that he'd always love me forever and no one would love me more than he did.
Exactly. And he's like, that
Yeah.
man better take good care of you.
Yeah. He knows Todd does.
Yes. But he's like,
How's the
Melissa,
makeup?
your makeup's great.
I
He's
don't
like,
believe you.
and but he's saying, your dad, he's like, no one is good enough for my girls. Come on. In the end, he's like, I
Yeah.
set a high bar.
Yeah.
Like I get the sense your dad was really protective.
Yeah. Great
Okay.
dad.
Yeah. So he
Best dad.
wants, okay. So here's the thing. He's like, she's mourning that. You're mourning the loss of that protection.
Yeah.
He wants you to know that's never going away.
Okay.
He will always protect you. Okay. He's
Yeah.
like, I've got you. I've got you. Okay. Yeah. And he hears you in the mornings. Do you talk to him in the mornings? He says,
I do
hear
talk
you
to
in
him
the
randomly.
mornings.
Yeah, I talk to him randomly. I'll just say something potentially that I regret or feel bad about, or whatever it is. Sometimes I'll just bring up a little conversation and say something quick and speak to him. I have a picture of him in the living room that he just looks
Yes.
down on us.
Okay, so that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look at that picture, he's with you.
Okay.
Know that. Okay, in that moment. I'm seeing you with a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah, always a cup of coffee.
That's what your dad's showing me, with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, he's always got the coffee. He was known for he'd come right in and want that coffee, and he'd have another coffee and another coffee. And I talked about coffee in his celebration of life.
Because he's like, no wonder I had heart issues, like, like with all the caffeine, right?
Yeah, he was having heart problems near the end there.
Like he's doing this, like
yeah,
almost
he'd say
an palpitations, arrhythmia.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
having that for sure.
Yeah, I'm
is-
feeling that.
Is there any sort of messages about how when he passed, like if he knew he was, or if he knew the decision was his naturally, or were the doctors pushing it to have him pass away, if that makes sense, because
Yeah, no,
they
no,
knew
I
he
know
was
what you
going
mean.
to, but
Yeah.
there's confusion around that for me personally.
Because your dad's saying to me, you guys felt like they didn't do enough measures, like they didn't really, they weren't aggressive enough in your eyes.
Yeah.
They kind of approached it like, oh, he's old, you know what I mean? And there's really no coming back from this, so
Yeah.
why prolong it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The age thing, he did get declined a few times for things because of age. Yeah.
Yes.
And I wanted
yes.
him over it in the hospitals near me, but he was at a hospital, which apparently was a great hospital, but I didn't feel strong about the decision.
Yeah. Was one of you wanting a transplant or something?
Yes, I did want him to, I think he did
Because
for
he's
stem
talking
cell
about that. Yes.
transplant, but I think the board declined him for that.
Yeah, he wasn't, he just said I wasn't eligible.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was a smart man. I
Yeah.
think he knew that would be the case. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the end, he's like, please no, honey, that would have killed me too.
He did say that to me. He said that probably would have
Yeah.
just taken me out anyways,
Yeah.
my age. So
Yes. So he wants you to know that as hard as it was that they sort of went off, he's calling it, they kind of like went off the gas on the car
they did.
and they just let me coast. He's like,
I'm
that
worried
was,
he wasn't. Sorry.
no,
I cut you off. Sorry.
he's saying, that's okay. He's saying that's merciful. And it was something that, as hard as it was for you all to witness,
Yes.
because you didn't have control in that moment.
That's what I'd say. Control. I felt
You didn't
no
have control. No.
thing.
He's like, you felt like you were spinning out of control because there wasn't anything you could do, and all you could do was watch me decline.
Yeah.
But he's like, in the end, that was the way that it was meant to be.
I have a hard time with that. He's like, it was meant to be that way. And I said, no, it feels like we could do more. They could do more. It didn't, I don't know.
Yeah. He wants me to give you the scenario, the timeline,
Mhm.
that let's say that they did treat him aggressively with,
Mhm.
you know, he's talking about Lasix, high doses of Lasix or something.
I think it was AVM near the end. They're giving him a lot of AVM.
So trying to clear out the fluids, right?
Yeah.
And trying to clear the lungs and
Oh yeah, they did do that, Brooke. A lot of Lasix to try to clear
he's
out.
talking about the
they
Lasix.
did.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, they did. Yes, they drained that a lot. There'd be a leader. Yeah.
Yes. And he's like, you know, in the end, even if they had done all of that, my heart would have given up because
Yeah.
it was time.
Yeah. They did say, you know, if it's not that will take him out, it's going to be one of the other things that are the body is shutting down. I just remember him saying to me the night before, you know, don't worry, we'll revisit the idea of me passing away on Sunday, because he did have the option of kind of taking everything away and going. Sometimes you would go right away. Sometimes it takes up to 4 days. And I think he was scared. I don't think there was enough information given to him on how he should have gone, essentially. And I think he wasn't in the right mind to know. And they took him off of everything. And he said, we'll circle back. And I said, okay, we'll see you in the morning. And in the morning, he had passed.
He had passed, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he said that it happened very quickly once they removed all of the measures that were in place.
Yeah.
Because he's like now pointing to me saying, that is why he was showing me the organs already beginning to shut down.
Okay, so it isn't anything that they weren't doing enough for him. They weren't giving him too much Ativan. It wasn't.
No. And he's saying there was still a morphine drip in place.
Okay. I did wonder that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's showing that to me, that like he wasn't in any pain. He wants you to know the body is a miraculous thing. Your dad's he sounds very learned to me. Like, was he like really big on like educating himself? And
huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Because he's, by the way, I'll finish this thought and then I want to tell you what he just told me.
Okay.
But he's like, the body is miraculous in that it knows how to die if we just let it.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened with me, is that my organs began to shut down. As soon as all the measures were gone and my body was able to do what it needed to do, he wants you to understand there was absolutely no pain and that he had the best reunion. The thing that your mom wants you to know is she's proud of you. She's so proud of you. And she, when I was tapping into you, Mary, before I started here, your team, your spirit team wanted me to make sure that I highlighted for you that this you're going also into a period of change, in a period of transition. And it was interesting. They began to show me a past life of yours, and you were a chambermaid. Like you had on the chambermaid hat, and you have like this old brush, and you're like scrubbing the floors. And, whenever they do that, when I'm tapping in and opening, I always ask them why. And they were saying, she's living a very different life, the polar opposite life in this lifetime, right? Because your soul, in this one that they're showing, obviously didn't have the abundance that you have in this one. You didn't have the opportunities or status or power. But here's the thing that your soul wanted to continue learning and experiencing and evolving is the depth of your soul, the empathic nature of who you are. That's your soul's essence, by the way. You're just a healer. And if you wanted to, you could have been a healer in this lifetime. You heal all of your friends that surround you.
That's
They're saying you would have made an incredible therapist.
Oh yeah.
Because that is who you are. But the one thing that they want you to understand is to begin to know that this is a period going forward of turning inward, of understanding yourself on a deeper level, of understanding your worth and speaking your truth, standing in that,
often been hard
right?
for me. Yeah.
They're saying, the last few years in particular, you've had to clean house and change the lifeboat, and you're aligning with your new tribe, right?
Yeah.
And so all of that was meant to happen so that you could find your worth and understand that going forward, you're meant to align with people that light you up, that fill your cup just as much as you fill theirs.
Well, I so appreciate that because it's been a very, very difficult past 5 years. So much loss, so much change. Brooke can attest to that. So it's like one
I
thing.
am her therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to start thinking more of myself. Than I've got 3 sons too, and I'm always concerned about everybody.
You are.
I'm like
Yeah.
the last one to be I'm concerned about usually.
Exactly. And that's why they're saying you need to begin to fill your cup up as well, because you're no good to anyone if yours is empty, right? There's so many people relying on you. But the other thing, and you can correct me if they're wrong, when I was tapping in for your, future, is philanthropy.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so they're like, that is going to be your project. Like you're going to, like your mom's like, she's like Mother Teresa. Like they're like
Called my
there's
Mother Teresa, but
yeah.
philanthropy has always been part of my life and charitable things, and
I
always.
feel like you're going to do more work in that area. That's
I
what they're
would love
dropping
to. I'm
in.
happy to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're kind of, my spirit sign is for it to expand and new opportunities in that area is going to come in for you. So just keep that in
I
mind.
will, because that's the most so rewarding to me to be into that. Like it's a very rewarding project to
Yes.
be involved in. Yeah.
And that is one of your missions here. Okay.
What?
They're honing in on the homeless.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I don't know if that's dropped in yet for you, but
Not yet, but
just they're like, there's so many opportunities because you have a platform you have a voice that will be heard, and you have your beautiful empathic heart that just mixed together is the perfect scenario to be able to pay it forward and to help others. So that's kind of what they want you to know is
Thank you.
looking forward for you.
I'm gonna look forward to that.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Melissa. What,
Mhm.
like, I know Brooke and I probably both need a glass of wine after this. We have an appointment I have to go to, but do you need to, like, what do you do after you've had this intense couple of hours? Do you have to like now relax
Yeah.
after these readings?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's funny too. I should show you guys. This is my scribble page.
Oh
whoa.
my gosh.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And
That's
is
it.
that all from today?
Yep, that's your reading.
What?
Wow.
And
What side too? Am I on the right? Mary's
hang on, because I think sometimes I flip it. Let me find the
Okay.
right, let
Oh
me
my
find
God.
the right side. Yeah, so it's kind of you guys combined,
Okay.
like really.
Oh, that's
Wow,
so
that's so intense.
So what I do, yeah, you're right. I mean, because in order for me to connect, I mean, a lot of mediums work differently. I have always just worked that I am like an open vessel. So they can speak and move through me. I allow them to allow me to feel, to see, to hear. And so I feel everything like it's happening to me. So
that's so crazy.
Wow.
when I finish a reading, I have a whole ritual of just sort of clearing my own energetic space, regrounding and connecting.
Wow.
And then you know what I do? I take my dogs for a walk.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
peace.
so awesome.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for
Oh,
It's been so awesome. I've
time.
never done anything like this.
I'm so glad you guys enjoyed it. It was
Thank
Yeah,
honestly.
you're incredible. You're incredible. That was
I'm going to be
Aw.
reeling all evening from this. Brooke and I will probably be just like
Aw.
note sharing. And this is the most amazing thing I've ever done.
Aw.
I mean, one of the
Thank
most
you.
amazing things, like it's incredible. And your energy and everything you
Yeah,
said
you're
was
so kind.
so spot on. And I don't know why my brother still did that to us, but it's gonna,
You know why?
yeah, I mean, he's crazy. He's funny. He's hysterical. But I mean,
Yeah.
he does play with electronics, and that's what he did to let me know he was.
He wanted you to know.
And I'm glad
that
we have it on. We have it videotaped.
we do have it on tape
Oh
too.
So
my
we'll be using
goodness.
that clip. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was honestly such a pleasure to meet you both, really.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah.
You too, and thank you
you.
again.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes,
There's that
have a
love.
wonderful evening. Kisses
Yes,
to you.
you
Thank
too.
so much. We'll talk
Okay.
very soon.
From the Midwest and the USA to Vancouver and the Little LA, she'll be dishing it twice, no matter naughty or nice. You better believe she's a real housewife. It's a very, very, a very, very commentary.